Let's talk about the end of the world. Hey folks, I'm Pastor Chad from Westside Presbyterian Church in Fort Worth, Texas, and this is a summary of last week's sermon. When we think about the end of the world, the word apocalypse often gets thrown around to describe it, but there are three different kinds of apocalypses. In the first apocalypse, the world ends suddenly through no fault of our own, a giant meteor or a flood or a random disease or a zombie apocalypse, or it could be a divine thing where God or the gods decide that they've just had enough of humans' nonsense and they are ready to wrap things up. In this religious version, it's often a rallying cry for believers to get as many people to their cause as possible because it's usually the case that the good people will be saved from this catastrophe and everyone else will suffer. But essentially, we're passive in this. But the second kind of apocalypse, we're not passive. Humans are the problem. We make a mess of things through our use of fossil fuels or chemicals dumped into nature, contaminated water sources, killing of wildlife, decimating of forests, etc. We can control and avoid this kind of apocalypse if we want to. But there are enough people in power who are benefiting from these awful acts that they are willing to condemn future generations to suffer so they can hoard wealth today. But the third kind of apocalypse is the true apocalypse. This is where the word literally means revelation or revealing or uncovering or unveiling or disclosing. This is how it's used in the Bible. It's about seeing things for how they really are. It's about truth-telling, laying things bare, but not in a destructive way, but in a way that sets up things for being made right or being put back into place or restored. It was a hopeful and buoyant and joyous expectation that there is still a better world and a better future ahead. But first, the truth has to be told. The irony about apocalyptic literature is that it is often using unclear language, which would not be detected by the dominant powers. It is language that's often violent and disturbing precisely because the people who read these letters for the first time were going through disturbing and violent hardships. Apocalyptic literature speaks honestly, but with poetry, about the realities of life and offers hope to the suffering. It isn't about the end of the world. It's about the spiritual truth present behind the propaganda of the oppressors. We live in an intense and disturbing world, one that is also full of beauty and wonder. And sometimes we can't help that the bad stuff happens. Sometimes we absolutely can help the bad stuff from happening. And sometimes we need a reminder that what is going on just below the surface might be something true and beautiful, and that God may bring about wonder and healing, and God just might use us or you to do it.